Hi, I'm Nathaniel Johnston, N. Johnston Photography. Today we're going to be reviewing the new Sony RX100II for focus camera. Sony has taken the already formidable RX100 and improved on it in a few key places. There's a multi-purpose hot shoe, Wi-Fi, a tiltable LCD screen, and my personal favorite, the new backlit CMOS sensor. My feeling is that these little pocket-sized point-and-shoot cameras are to be carried around in your pocket so you can use them at a moment's notice. It's nice to have manual as an option, but I want to know that this can deliver the goods in automatic. Every time you change modes, it gives you this helpful little display. As helpful as it is to people who want to know more about what the camera's offering them, it's nice to know that you could just press the shutter release button and it'll take a picture even with the helpful tip on the screen. That said, there should be an easy way to turn it off because I find that feature prohibitive to taking good photos immediately. The exposures on the RX100II seem to be pretty intelligent. It definitely notices the highlights and keeps them in check, and also punches into the darks just enough so you can see the details in the darker spots in the picture. The lens on the Sony RX100II is not quite wide enough for me, but then again, it's a sub-$1,000 pocket camera, so how much can you expect? Here's a trick. Getting your autofocus to work on a basically blank wall with very little detail on it. Sony just did that, and that gives it high marks in my book. A dedicated macro camera, this is not. What it will do is allow you to get the shots you want to get as you're walking around throughout the day and you happen to have a small camera in your pocket. And generally speaking, you can get it to focus where you want it to focus. The autofocus seems a little confused as to what part of the flower I wanted to focus on, which I guess is understandable because the flower has a long center that's sticking out. I had to try several times to get the shot. Overall, when you're willing to take the time to go into the menu and change into manual focus or digital manual focus mode, you can get the focus that you want. Now this is cool. The camera really knows that I'm shooting a backlit subject. And so until I simply pointed it at the sky with a little bit of the statue, it's exposed for the statue. That's great. It really shows intelligent design in the software. You can really zoom in far with this 20 megapixel sensor. I'm pretty happy with that. I can literally crop more than 100%, it looks like. So far the sensor's fine. I can't say that I'm impressed over the original RX100 because I haven't gotten the files into a computer and looked at them. But so far it looks like it does a really good job. So I can only imagine that the new backlit CMOS sensor is going to make a difference in really low light situations. Speaking of low lights, let's take some dark photos and check it out. So I found a nice dark little hole underneath the surface of Manhattan, and I took a picture through it, and I got some really nice graffiti on the other side of the train tracks. I have to say, at this ISO, I don't see a difference between the two cameras. In a side-by-side, in-hand comparison, as far as using the camera, there's not a whole lot of difference between this one and the original RX100. The ISO capabilities, as viewed on the back of the camera, seem to be about the same, even at high ISOs like 6400. Also, in extreme backlit situations, the two cameras seem very similar, but I'd really have to get the files into a computer and look at them in Photoshop or Lightroom just to see. It's a great little camera with a few small improvements over its predecessor. I really like the flip-out LCD screen. That's very handy in a lot of different shooting situations. I also appreciate the fact that Sony has put a multi-purpose hot shoe on top, though I personally would probably never use it, and I suspect that the demographic that this camera is aimed at probably won't either. The Wi-Fi maybe a little more so if people are technologically inclined, but I think the person who wants to buy this camera wants to buy it for its ease and simplicity of use and its ability to get really good photos at a moment's notice in a small package. Thanks for watching. I'm Nathaniel Johnston, N. Johnston Photography. And if you want to see some of my photography, you can check out my website at www.njohnstonphotography.com. See you next time.